You've wasted enough time pretending you're trying, pretending you're building, pretending you're working hard when you're really just staying busy. The truth is you've been lying to yourself to stay comfortable. But growth doesn't happen in comfort. It happens the moment you admit, I am the reason I'm not where I want to be. Nobody's coming to save you. Nobody's going to force you to get up early, train harder, grind longer, or stay focused. That's your job. That's what separates winners from losers. It's not talent. It's not luck. It's ownership. Because the second you stop blaming the world and start holding yourself accountable, you flip the switch from average to elite. Your life is a reflection of your standards. Raise them. And don't wait for motivation. You're not a child needing permission. Real men build momentum through discipline, not dopamine. You don't need to feel like doing it. You just do it every day, because consistency eats talent for breakfast, because every rep, every second, every sacrifice stacks into a legacy. You don't chase feelings, you chase results. Discipline is choosing between what you want now and what you want most. And what you want most is freedom, power, respect. You don't get that by watching motivational videos. You earn it through war. The war against comfort, the war against weakness, the war against the old version of you that gave up too easy. And if you win that war daily, the world has no choice but to follow. The reason your life hasn't changed is because you haven't taken control. You keep handing your power to distractions, excuses, and weakness. You want a different life? Then become a different man. Right now. Most of you have no idea how powerful you could be, because you've never taken full responsibility for anything in your life. You're drifting, not living, floating through existence, pointing fingers at everything except the mirror. And that's where weakness is born. That's the breeding ground of mediocrity. You've been lied to by the world, convinced that your circumstances are a curse when really they're a test. Every failure, every betrayal, every setback, it's all a mirror showing you who you are under pressure. And if that reflection disgusts you, then good. That's where transformation begins. Change doesn't come from comfort, it comes from confrontation. You got to look at yourself and say, this is all on me. Every missed opportunity, every broken promise, every time I said I'll do it tomorrow and didn't, that's my fault. And that's not a weakness, it's the beginning of power. Because once you realize you're the problem, you also realize you're the solution. You keep searching for the secret to success like it's hidden in some expensive course or magical routine. It's not. It's in the silence between choices. It's in the moment your alarm rings at 5 a.m. and your body screams no, but your mind says move. It's in the moment when you're alone, broke, exhausted, and you still grind. People talk about manifestation like it's some spiritual hack, but the truth is you become what you tolerate. If you tolerate your own laziness, your life becomes a joke. If you tolerate excuses, your legacy dies before it's born. Your environment isn't stopping you. Your past isn't stopping you. Your parents, your job, your girl, they're not in control. You are, but you have to earn that control. And that's where 99% of men fold. They want respect without sacrifice. They want power without pain. But power is pain refined into discipline. Respect is earned in silence when no one's watching and you're still doing the work. And greatness, that comes when you realize that nothing external will save you. It's all internal, always has been. You say you're tired? You're not tired, you're undisciplined. You say you're lost? You're not lost, you're just distracted. Stop lying to yourself. You're not waiting for motivation, you're waiting for permission, and no one's coming. No one's gonna knock on your door and say, hey, I noticed you've been a little inconsistent lately, want $1 million in a six-pack. That moment will never come. So what's left? You and your mindset. That's the weapon, that's the edge, that's the empire. You either sharpen it daily or you let it rust. You can scroll for hours looking for inspiration, or you can become the inspiration. Imagine that. Imagine being the man everyone looks to when things go wrong. Not because you're loud, not because you're fake, but because you're built for war. Because you took all the chaos in your life and forged a kingdom from it. That's what men are meant to do. Lead, build, protect. And it all starts with leading yourself. Most people think mindset is just positive thinking, smiling in the mirror, reading quotes. But mindset is brutal. It's steel. It's telling yourself the truth when it hurts the most. It's knowing that emotions are liars and discipline is your only compass. When you let your emotions run the show, you become their slave. And the world doesn't care. The world rewards the discipline and punishes the emotion. That's why you're losing. Not because you're not talented, but because you're ruled by how you feel. I don't feel like working. I don't feel like getting up. I feel overwhelmed. Your feelings are the change. Your mind is the key, and no one can turn that key except you. But here's the part most people miss, and this is where the hope comes in. You're not stuck. You've just never gone all in on yourself. You've never put everything else aside and said, this is my life, and I'm going to dominate it. Once you do that, once you truly own everything, the good and the bad, you become invincible. Because now you're not depending on luck. You're not blaming fate. You're not crying about things you can't control. You control you. And that's all you ever needed. Mindset isn't about pretending everything's okay. It's about building a fortress so strong within yourself that nothing outside can break it. People ask, how do I stay motivated? Here's how. You remember who you are, and you remember what you're building every damn day. That's what keeps you going when life tries to break you. The truth is, this world will chew you up and spit you out if you're soft. But if your mind is sharp, if you take ownership of every action, if you stop waiting for the right time and just move, then there is no obstacle you can't smash through. You don't need more time, you need more fire. You don't need a new strategy, you need a new standard. And that standard should be this: I will not be a slave to weakness. I will not be a victim of emotion. I will not outsource my destiny to chance. Every single day you decide what kind of man you're becoming. Not once a year, not on New Year's, every single day. That's the power of responsibility. That's the foundation of mindset, and that right there is the start of your empire. I wasn't born rich, I wasn't born disciplined. I built it. I crafted it like a weapon. Every scar, every betrayal, every setback, I used them like bricks to build a mine no one could break. And you know what changed everything? One single moment of clarity. I remember sitting alone, flat broke, no car, no freedom, just silence and four walls closing in. Most men would have folded right there. But I didn't ask, why is this happening to me? I asked, what did I do to let it get this bad? That's the difference. That's the moment you either evolve or rot. And in that moment, I stopped lying to myself. I stopped pretending the world owed me something. I stopped blaming the system, my environment, my luck. I looked dead in the mirror and said, if I want to rise, I've got to kill the weak version of me right now. No one came to save me. No lifeline, no motivational speaker, no brother to pick me up. It was me, my thoughts, and a decision to rewrite my identity. I didn't wait until I felt ready. I didn't wait for a sign. I created the sign. I forged it through action. That's the part they don't tell you. Discipline isn't something you're born with. It's something you earn day by day, through pain, through boredom, through the moments when everything in you screams to quit. You fight through it, and on the other side, you find power, not just strength, but self-respect. And when you've got self-respect, no man can control you because you already control yourself. People think success is some glamorous path paved in luxury cars and five-star dinners. What they don't see is the years of invisible suffering, the moments when you sacrificed everything for a dream no one else believes in. I used to train when I was exhausted. I used to work when everyone else was asleep. I used to push myself until my body begged me to stop. And then I pushed harder, not because I was special, but because I refused to be out. You think it's motivation? No, it's identity. When you see yourself as a man of action, a man of war, a man of mission, you do what needs to be done. Not because it feels good, but because it's who you are. One night I remember I was cold, hungry, and thinking about quitting. I had just lost another fight, my finances were gone, people around me had given up, and the darkness in my mind was real. It whispered, maybe this life isn't for you. Maybe you were meant to lose. But then I snapped. I stood up, clenched my fists, looked out the window at a city full of weak men making excuses, and I said, I will not join them. That moment wasn't flashy. There was no music, no crowd, no applause, but it was real, raw. And it was the turning point, because that's where a real man is born. Not in victory, but in defiance. In the refusal to be broken. You think you need support? No, you need purpose. You need fire. That's what I found. I created a vision so strong in my head that quitting became a form of self-betrayal. I would literally close my eyes and feel the version of me I was chasing, rich, powerful, respected, untouchable. And every time I slipped, every time I felt weak, I'd go back to that vision and say, He's counting on me. The man I'm becoming needs me to suffer now so he can live free later. That's mindset. That's responsibility. You suffer now or you suffer forever. You pay in discipline or you pay in regret. People say like, you're lucky you had the mindset to push through. No, I wasn't born with it. I chose it every day. And you can too. The difference is I was willing to lose everything temporarily for a chance to win forever. I was willing to become obsessed. I didn't want balance. I wanted domination. I didn't want comfort. I wanted freedom. And freedom costs. It costs your comfort zone. It costs your bad habits. It costs your excuses. You have to bleed, but it's the kind of bleeding that cleanses your soul, because when you earn your strength, really earn it, nothing and no one can take it away. That's why I need you to understand. You are not weak. You are not broken. You've just been lied to your whole life. They've told you to wait, to be patient, to calm down. But calm men don't win wars. Patient men don't get rich, and weak men don't earn respect. You're not stuck. You've just never truly committed. You've never decided that this is it. That from this moment forward, every action, every choice, every second will be aligned with the man you're becoming. You have to break the mental chains before you break through reality. And the moment you stop looking outward for answers and start holding yourself accountable for everything, that's the moment you begin to rise. So here's the truth. Your story's not over. It's just been weakly written. Start again. From this moment on, you are the author, the director, the architect of your reality. Don't wait for the world to believe in you. Believe in yourself so ruthlessly that the world has no choice but to follow. Burn the old version of you, bury the excuses, kill the victim inside your head, and build the man who refuses to be denied. Every man has two lives, and the second begins the moment he realizes no one is coming to save him. That silence you feel when life punches you in the mouth, that's the real test. That's when your mindset either folds like paper or turns to iron. And I'm telling you right now, most people live their whole lives avoiding that silence, avoiding the mirror, avoiding the confrontation with their own laziness and fear. But that silence is where kings are born. That's where warriors are made. Because in that darkness, you find the truth. It's all on you. The moment you accept that everything is your fault, your power doubles. It's not weakness to say, I'm responsible. It's freedom. Because if you caused it, you can fix it. If you allowed it, you can change it. No one can save a man who keeps outsourcing the blame for his failures. My parents didn't teach me. School failed me. The economy is rough. Shut it. You know what's rough? Waking up 10 years from now in the exact same place because you spent a decade making excuses instead of decisions. You're not a tree. You're not stuck. You've just never made a real violent commitment to reinventing yourself. And let me tell you something they'll never teach you in school. Your life will be built in pain. You either suffer now for the life you want, or you suffer later regretting the life you never built. The gym hurts. Discipline hurts. Waking up early hurts. But you know what hurts more? Looking in the mirror and seeing a coward. A man who ran. A man who could have, but didn't. The price of greatness is suffering. That's the currency. And if you're not paying in suffering, you're paying in mediocrity. Choose your pain wisely. What separates the elite from the average isn't talent, it's obsession. The kind of obsession where your vision keeps you awake at night, where every meal, every conversation, every second of rest feels like a distraction from the mission. I didn't become dangerous because I was lucky. I became dangerous because I refused to tolerate the weak version of myself. I became the kind of man who, even when tired, broken, or doubted, still moved. Because real power isn't loud. It's silent. It's calm. It's a man who walks into a room and doesn't have to speak for people to feel the pressure of his presence. You think you're waiting for motivation. You're not. You're stalling because the truth is you're scared of the work. And that's fine. Fear is natural. But you don't negotiate with it. You don't give it a seat at the table. You walk through it like a soldier. You treat fear like a child tugging at your sleeve. Acknowledge it and then drag it with you into the fire. That's how you win. You win by refusing to give your emotions power over your destiny. Your mind must be stronger than your feelings. If you live by that, you become untouchable. You've got to create such violent momentum that people watching can't understand how you move like that. That's what builds respect, not talking, not posting. not waiting for some divine energy to bless your life. It's the discipline to rise when it's easier to sleep. It's the courage to start before you're ready. It's the cold, hard decision to dominate even when everything in you screams to stop. That's mindset. That's responsibility. And when you stack those bricks every day, no matter how small, you build a fortress inside yourself. One that no storm can break. People love to say they're stuck, they're trapped, it's not my fault. But let me give you the brutal truth. It is. You're stuck because you won't move. You're trapped because you keep choosing comfort over conquest. The prison isn't real. The chains are made of excuses. And the key is right in front of you. Discipline. Discipline is the highest form of self-love. The ability to delay pleasure, to sacrifice the now for the forever. That's what builds men. That's what separates the lions from the sheep. Because while the sheep look for shade, the lion trains in the sun. You want to change your life? Burn your plan B. Destroy your backup route. Commit like your life depends on it. Because it does. You're not here to exist. You're here to conquer. But you can't conquer anything until you master yourself. The world doesn't need more passive, agreeable someday men. It needs fire. It needs men who take total ownership of their minds, their choices, their outcomes. It needs men who stare at their flaws, smile, and say, let's fix it. And if you're reading this thinking you're too far gone, good. It means you finally reached the edge. And from the edge, you've only got two options: build wings or fall. You don't need someone to save you. You need to wake up. You need to look at your habits, your friends, your thoughts, your goals, and burn the parts that keep you average. Visualize success so vividly that it drags you out of bed, makes your blood hot, and forces you to act. Not someday, now. Now is the moment where the pretending ends. The games, the delays, they all start tomorrow. Done. There's no next chapter if you don't pick up the pen right now and rewrite the one you're living. And I'm not talking about posting motivational quotes or pretending to grind on social media. I'm talking about the raw, gritty, internal war that turns a boy into a force of nature. If you're still waiting for a sign, this is it. This is the wake-up call you've been dodging every morning when you snoozed your potential into silence. It's the slap you needed every time you stared into the mirror and told yourself you'd change, but didn't. You got to become violently allergic to mediocrity. I mean that. Every time you slack, every time you hesitate, that should make your skin crawl. You should be disgusted with the idea of being average, not because someone told you you're special, but because you know deep down you were meant for more, and you're tired of betraying that. Every second you waste is another step further from the man you could have been. You either grow or you rot. That's the law. And if you're not waking up with fire in your chest and pressure on your shoulders, then you're already behind. But here's the beautiful truth. They lied to you about how change works. You don't need a new year or a Monday or a mentor. You don't need a perfect plan. You need one decision. One brutal, non-negotiable decision to never go back to the version of yourself that let life happen to him. You take control now. You take responsibility now. And from this second on, you bury every excuse 6 feet deep and walk away from the funeral without looking back. That man is dead. He served his purpose. He showed you what losing looks like. Now it's your turn to show the world what resurrection looks like. You need to stop being afraid of starting from zero. Every legend began broke, broken, and alone. But they had something most people don't: ownership. They didn't cry about their past. They didn't beg for sympathy. They built empires from ashes because they decided if it's meant to be, it's up to me. That's the mindset that makes kings. That's the responsibility that gives a man true power. And if you think you're too old, too tired, too late, then you've already lost the game mentally. The only difference between winning and losing is who refuses to quit. That's it. That's the cheat code. Refuse to stay down and stop asking the world to go easy on you. That's weakness disguised as logic. You want an easy life? Then enjoy being forgettable. But if you want to build something eternal, if you want a legacy, if you want freedom, if you want the kind of confidence that radiates before you speak, then you embrace the storm. You run toward the fire while the rest run away. Because men are not made in comfort. They are forged in chaos, in doubt, in hardship. Comfort is the enemy of greatness. Burn that into your mind. Etch it into your discipline. And every time it gets hard, smile. That's when you know you're leveling up. Let this be the moment your story shifts. No more talking, no more hoping. You decide right now. The world won't change for you. The people around you won't magically become supportive. The perfect time won't appear like a movie scene. That's the fairy tale. This is real life. And in real life, the man who takes responsibility wins. He wins because his decisions are his own. His failures are his lessons. His success is inevitable because he won't let it be anything else. Close your eyes and imagine that highest version of yourself. Confident, unshakable, respected, feared, loved, free. That man doesn't live in some fantasy future. He's buried inside you, trapped beneath the layers of procrastination, addiction, fear, and weakness you keep feeding. You don't become him by waiting. You become him by killing the things that are killing you. That's mindset. That's responsibility, and that's the path to power. So here's your final choice. And it's the only one that matters. You either go back to your old life and pretend this speech didn't hit you in the chest like a bullet, or you burn the bridge behind you and never go back. No more victim mentality, no more wasted time, no more blaming the world for the life you were too lazy to build. Today, you become the man who doesn't ask, he takes. Who doesn't wait, he moves. Who doesn't complain, he conquers. And the world, they won't understand you. They won't clap for you. But one day they'll look at what you built and ask, how did he do it? And you'll smile because you'll know the answer. I took responsibility.